That trailer. It must have been the first Deus Ex related thing that most people had seen, and what an introduction. I was at university at the time, and my house loved it. Every Friday night we'd tuck into a beast pizza and watch a movie on our makeshift entertainment system downstairs, then play the Deus Ex trailer in full HD, volume turned up louder each week. We got hyped up about this game to a level I've never experienced since. To this day, we quote the game in appropriate and inappropriate situations. I don't have a clue what the outside world must think of us. Frankly, I don't care. Fast forward to mid-2011, and there I was, supposedly revising for the last year of exams, only for the leaked demo of the game to somehow find its way onto the campus network. The temptation was too strong. I had to try it for myself. This was like Half-Life 3 for me. There was no way it could deliver what it promised. Loading up Human Revolution for the first time worried me. I was not expecting Deus Ex. I mean, if the original developers tried and failed, what chance did a new studio have? I was wary of Square Enix's Japanese roots and the temptation they must have had to modernise the series by glamorising the future by adding death-giving ninjas and artsy-fartsy acrobatics. But I needn't have feared. As I left the elevator in the intro, the familiar UNATCO tune kicked in and I couldn't help but laugh. I knew in that moment that they hadn't betrayed the original Deus Ex, and this feeling only grew as I played the game further. The developers had got the lifeless, aged body of Deus Ex, replaced a load of parts, given it a lick of paint and had thrown it back out into the streets again, modernised and reborn, yet retaining the appeal of the original. If I had to sell this game to you, I'd describe it as a series of living, breathing environments that give you a loose objective and let you go off and complete them however you like. It's more intelligent than your average game. Characters remember your actions and you can determine the fate of most of the cast. Yet despite this, it still manages a decent story and gameplay. It's the sum of these parts that make the game so great. You'd be doing it a major disservice if you tried playing it like Serious Sam. Time and time again, the game impressed me. Radios would play tunes from the original and the sense of freedom was still there. I can't count the number of times I fought my way through the first proper level, trying different styles. My housemate bought a new PC just to run the game, and all three of us battled through that first level, trying to get the most experience points possible. That depth and complexity to that first level left me more than satisfied. In fact, it was more rewarding than most levels from the original Deus Ex. The takedowns in this game reward close combat sneaking, rather than the original game which would chuck it back in your face. The stealth system is robust and reliable, and the hacking minigame has sapped hours of my life. I get excited, but also kind of frustrated when I come across a room with hundreds of computer terminals inside. I can't help but hack each and every one of them for the tidbits of experience that they reward me. Deus Ex is thought-provoking and profound. It paints a bleak yet fascinating and feasible future and forecasts the implications that bioengineering will have within our lifetimes. The series has always had the uncanny ability to predict future events, and Human Revolution has taken it to the next level. It's all too easy to use a future setting to be cool and ridiculous, but Deus Ex manages to keep it relevant and even questions whether advances are the way forward. As you pass through this depressing yet fascinating world, you hear couples arguing about robotics in apartments. You encounter scrap collectors who earn a living from ripping robotic limbs off passerbys. It may be the future, but the world still possesses dated views on those who are different. There are fears of rejection, both socially and physically, from those who have adopted the mechanical upgrades. And how about the music? If I had long enough lips, I'd kiss Michael McGann right now for such a splendid job. It couldn't have been any better, and I urge other game developers to take note. The streets wouldn't be half as eerie and melancholy without the subdued chords and sound effects he delivers. It perfectly adapts to your playstyle, speeding up and slowing down depending on your degree of stealth. The limb clinics get an almost religious theme that manages to send shivers down my spine every time. I could talk about it for hours, but I'll summarise it by saying it wouldn't be half the game it is without the music. It's a true work of art and has been blasting out of my speakers ever since. As for the interactive conversations, the idea of trying to read your opponent is so Deus Ex, I can't believe the original didn't do anything like this. They become frustrating once you see through their mechanics, but I welcome them with open arms in those first playthroughs. You genuinely empathise with those you meet. My only gripe is that it's all too easy to do the right thing and to help them. I'd prefer tougher decisions and bigger regrets to eat into me as I battle through this grimy world. Each and every area of this game is like a world of its own, with a mix of civilians, guards and robots. You can break into places you don't have to visit. You can even read through emails that staff have messaged to each other. If you don't want to do this, it's fine. It's still reassuring to know that it's there in the background, and it makes this game more than the sum of its parts. There's a thrill to unnecessary intrusion that this series has always got right. You can easily lose yourself in a place for hours, always pushing what's socially acceptable without ever getting caught. The moment that did it for me was in the police station. I make my own levels for games. I see through most environments and know it's just an illusion. Yet after dropping me through the vents into this hostile yet ordinary place, I let my emotions get the better of me. I didn't want to take down innocent people and left a lot of this location unexplored because of it. I saw the officers stretching out ahead of me, hundreds of people getting on with their lives, blissfully unaware of my break-in. This was a classic Deus Ex moment for me. The idea that this level could stretch on forever and that I was only experiencing a tiny fraction of it. Obviously since then I've killed everybody there, hacked every PC and looted every bin, but with that, the magic goes. The first time was almost like a dream, and I've seldom become so caught up in my character's role as I was at that moment. I did the math and realised that I would be roughly the same age as Adam Jensen come 2027. That sort of stuff makes you sit up and listen. Yep, although it's set in the future, it's our future. To think that the characters in this game had grown up in our generation really made me marvel at what the future could hold for us. I found this to be a world that I could really relate to and could imagine happening within the next couple of decades. The original Deus Ex by comparison was always a little too far-fetched for me, even as a child. I share the developers' frustrations when people don't get it. People who complain about the lack of ammo or dismiss it as a shadow of the original game. I fail to see how you can't enjoy a game that can be played in such a large number of ways. The average person will only see a fraction of what this game has to offer, but even they should be aware that it's catered to how they want to play. Want to sneak around the section? Sure, there will always be an option. Fancy shooting some people? Fine by me. In a way, I wish there were fewer choices. Perhaps make stealthy players sweat it out by having to botch it through a busy location, rather than chickening out and using that conveniently placed vent system. Why not pit aggressive players against a near indestructible foe to give them the incentive to try and find a peaceful alternative means? The developer commentary has given me faith in the team behind this game. While the original Deus Ex got lucky, this one was planned and calculated, and therefore its success can be repeated. I'll admit that the boss fights were the weak point of the game, but to let such a small part tarnish you from the rest of it is madness, especially since it has been re-released with improved sequences in the form of the director's cut, which is the one I'm playing in these clips. Remember that to live up to the hype, this game didn't just have to match Deus Ex, it had to surpass it. Nostalgia and familiarity is working against it, but for me, Deus Ex Human Revolution is as good as I could have hoped for, and better than I could have managed had I dreamed up Deus Ex 3 myself. The biggest limitation, perhaps, is the game's engine. The environments aren't as large and as sprawling as the original game, but at least they're not as limited as the abysmal Invisible War. There's a lot of clutter in the levels, but it's completely static. These are small points that I hope will be rectified in Deus Ex 4. Yup, Deus Ex 4. There's no better time to replay Human Revolution now that its sequel has been announced. Human Revolution was more than just a reboot of the series. It has attracted new audiences, has made the game more accessible, and paves the way for future releases. I'm sure that it's encouraged many people to give the original game a chance as well. Men like us, we never get back the things we love, but we can relive those first experiences of Deus Ex through others. Congratulations to Eidos Montreal for undertaking such a gargantuan task. Not only did they have to make a fun game, but they had to please fans of the original, modernise it for today's consoles, and keep the ambitious nature of Deus Ex despite the polish and playtesting that's now required. It's a different beast to the original game, but complements it nicely. I'm proud to be around when a game like Human Revolution has been released. Although its graphics and gameplay may age, I feel its story and foresight will stand the test of time. I want people in 20 years' time to look back at this game and to see how much this game gets right and wrong about the future. Okay, it was wrong about Steve Jobs, but every news story I hear about robotic limbs or technological advancements brings us one step closer to the future that this game has predicted. I never asked for this, but I'm very pleased that I got it.